Why no one tells you this, but should. Have you ever wondered if something about you, something small, something subtle, might be quietly pushing people away? And yet, no one says a word. Not because they don't care, but because they don't want to offend you, because they're being polite, kind, even, but also silent. As we get older, some habits sneak into our lives almost unnoticed. We don't mean to pick them up, and most of the time, we don't even realize we have. Maybe it's skipping a haircut, interrupting someone mid-sentence, or wearing that one pair of pants that's 2 sizes too big. Tiny things, right? But those tiny things can start to shape how the world sees you and how we feel about ourselves. Now here's the good news. These aren't permanent problems. They're not about who you are as a person. They're just habits. And habits can be changed. In this video, we're going to walk through 8 of the most common subtle habits that may be quietly working against you. Not out of malice, not out of laziness, simply out of routine and time. We'll show you how these small behaviors can be seen by other 7 when they go unspoken. And more importantly, we'll talk about how to gently shift them in a way that helps you feel more alive, more vibrant, and more seen. Take a moment and ask yourself this. If someone you loved was unknowingly doing something that hurt how others perceived them, wouldn't you want to kindly tell them? Consider this video, that gentle voice. A friend looking out for you. A mirror that reflects not judgment, but encouragement. Here at Elderly Active Living, we believe aging isn't about fading. It's about refining. And the more aware we become of the small details, the more power we hold to transform our presence. So whether you're 60 or 90, single or partnered, outgoing or quiet, you deserve to know the little things that make a big difference. Because when you show up as your best self, the world responds. Let's dive in. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elderly Active Living. We've got more insights to help you live, age, and thrive with confidence. Part 1. The quiet power of self. Grooming. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you didn't quite recognize the person staring back at you? Not because of age, but because somewhere along the line, you started letting go of the little thing, skipping a haircut, wearing the same clothes a few days in a row, or forgetting to trim your nails. It happens gradually, one small habit at a time. And often, it's not about neglect, it's about life getting heavy, slower, quieter. And before we know it, grooming feels like a chore rather than an act of self-care. But here's a truth that many of us don't say out loud. People notice. And not just strangers. Friends, neighbors, even family, they feel it. They might not mention it because they're being polite. But the shift in your energy, in how you carry yourself, can create a ripple effect in how people respond to you. Not because appearance is everything, but because self-presentation signals self-worth. Let's talk about Richard. He's 81 now, once a celebrated photographer who used to dress with flair, polish his shoes until they gleamed, and wear his favorite cologne. But after losing his wife, everything changed. Slowly, silently, he stopped caring. He stopped shaving. His wardrobe became a rotation of the same 2 shirts. And he noticed something strange. People started treating him differently. Fewer smiles. Less warmth. Then one day, Richard found an old photo of himself in his darkroom, smiling, confident, sharp, and something clicked. That same afternoon, he got a trim. He chose a crisp button-down shirt. He reached for the cologne gathering dust. And the result? Instant. People smiled. They complimented him. But more importantly, Richard felt lighter, stronger, reconnected with himself. That's the magic of grooming. It's not about vanity. It's about dignity. When you put effort into your appearance, you're saying, I still matter. I'm still here. And the world responds. You don't need to spend a fortune. You just need intention. A clean haircut, trimmed nails, clothes that fit well, not necessarily trendy, just cared for. A pleasant scent. Small things with big emotional returns. And here's something to try: set a weekly ritual. Call it your reset moment. Maybe Sunday evening. Clip your nails. Steam your shirt. Refresh your scent. Look at yourself and smile. Because the way you treat yourself shows others how to treat you. And that starts with showing up for yourself. We believe that age doesn't dim your light, it just needs a little polishing from time to time. Stick with us as we dive deeper into the other subtle habits that shape how the world sees you and how we see ourselves. Part 2. Speaking too loudly or interrupting. Have you ever noticed someone subtly leaning away during a conversation? Maybe their smile stays, but their body shifts, or they glance at someone else while you're mid-sentence. These are the tiny, polite clues we often miss. As we grow older, one quiet change can start to echo louder than we realize. Our hearing. You see, hearing loss doesn't usually arrive all at once. It slips in gently. At first, we think the TV's too quiet, or others are mumbling. So we turn up the volume on the television, yes, but also in our voices. Without noticing, we start to speak louder, sometimes even interrupting or finishing others' sentences. Not because we're rude, far from it, but because we can't quite hear ourselves the way we used to. And unfortunately, most people won't tell us. Out of respect, or maybe discomfort, they just adapt. Or quietly pull away. That's exactly what happened to Harold, a 79-year-old retired firefighter with a lifetime of stories and a naturally booming voice. At family dinners, his voice filled the room. But lately, something felt off. His grandchildren stopped asking follow-up questions. His daughter often looked away while he talked. Then one night, his 12-year-old granddaughter gently said, "Grandpa, I love your stories, but you don't have to shout." It caught him off guard, but Harold wasn't offended, he was thoughtful. The next week, he got his hearing checked. Just as he suspected, mild hearing loss had crept in. After adjusting with a hearing aid and being more mindful of his tone, something beautiful happened. People leaned in again. Conversations flowed. Eye contact returned. He didn't feel too loud anymore, he felt heard. Here's the truth. Communication isn't just about words. It's also about rhythm, volume, presence. When we speak too loudly, interrupt too often, or rush to fill silences, we might unintentionally overpower the space. And it's easy to miss the signs, the sideways glances, the shortened replies, the hesitation to start new conversations. So what can we do? First, awareness is power. If people seem distracted or withdraw mid-talk, don't take it personally, take it as a signal. Second, get your hearing checked. Even minor hearing loss can change how your voice sounds to others. Third, take a breath. Let others finish. Conversation is like dancing. It's about knowing when to lead and when to follow. And finally, remember, a gentle voice draws people in. It says, "I'm here, I care, I'm listening." Small adjustments can reignite deep connections. Because in the end, how we say something often matters just as much as what we say. Part 3. Outdated or ill. Fitting clothes. Let's be honest for a moment. When was the last time you really looked at your wardrobe? I'm not talking about just grabbing a shirt from the closet and heading out the door. I mean truly noticing how your clothes make you feel, or how they make others see you. As we age, it's easy to slip into routines. We find a comfortable shirt, a pair of pants that still work, and we stick with them day after day, year after year. It's familiar. It feels safe. But over time, those same clothes, especially when they're outdated, oversized, or for dead, can quietly say something we don't intend. They can whisper, "I've stopped paying attention," or worse, "I've stopped caring." That's not who you are, and it's definitely not how you want to be seen. Martin, age 81, is a perfect example. A retired accountant, neat and thoughtful, but he had one habit. He wore the same polo shirts and baggy slacks every week. Not because he didn't care, but because he didn't think it mattered anymore. Until one afternoon, his daughter surprised him with a simple gift: a crisp, well-fitted button-down shirt and a blazer that actually matched his shape. He put them on with hesitation, but walked into the room with surprise. "You look so sharp, Dad." "Wow, you look younger." "Grandpa, you're styling today." The compliments flowed, but more importantly, Martin stood taller. His eyes were brighter. Something shifted not just outside, but inside too. What changed wasn't just the fabric, it was the message. He saw himself differently, and the world followed. Clothes don't have to be trendy or expensive to work for you, but they do need to fit well, feel fresh, and reflect your energy, because style doesn't evolves. And when you take a little care in how you dress, you send a powerful signal: I'm still here, I still matter. So what can you do today? Choose a few outfits that fit your body as it is now, not how it was 20 years ago. Try colors that brighten your skin and make your eyes stand out. Swap out stretched or faded items for clean, structured piece 7, just 1 or 2. And if you're unsure where to start, ask a friend, a loved one, or even your grandchild. They'll love helping you, and you'll love the confidence that comes with it. Because here's the truth: when you look like you care, people respond. They see you, they respect you, and most importantly, you feel better in your own skin. O.A. If you're enjoying these insights, don't forget to like, follow, and share Elderly Active Living. We're here to support your journey not just in how you live, but in how you shine. Part 4. Topic: constant complaining or criticizing. Let's talk about something most people don't mention, but everyone feels. You've probably seen it before, maybe even done it without realizing. A conversation starts off well, light-hearted, then slowly turns into a monologue about how things used to be better, or what's wrong with the world today. And then you notice the shift. The person across from you glances away. They check their phone. They nod, but don't really engage. You're not trying to push people away, but the truth is, constant complaining or criticizing does just that. Especially as we get older, it becomes easy to slip into this pattern without even noticing. Take Harold, 76, a warm, thoughtful man with decades of stories. His son used to love sitting on the porch with him, listening to tales from the old days. But over time, those stories turned into long lectures about how much better things were back then. One day, his son finally asked, "Dad, do you still enjoy life, or are you just comparing it?" That question stung, but it also opened Harold's eyes. He didn't want to be the person people tolerated. He wanted to be the one they looked forward to seeing. So he made a shift. He started balancing every bit of criticism with curiosity. Instead of saying, "Kids today don't understand respect," he'd ask, "What are they passionate about now?" Instead of "Everything's too fast," he'd say, "I admire how quickly young folks adapt." It wasn't about pretending the world is perfect, it was about choosing to bring energy, not drain it. And guess what? People started staying longer. Conversations got richer. The room felt lighter. Here's the truth. Negativity is like a slow leak in a room. It drains the atmosphere without making a sound. But positivity, warmth, and open-mindedness? That's magnetic. It draws people in. So, what can you do today? Pause before you speak, ask yourself, am I adding light or taking it away? Swap every complaint with a moment of gratitude. Be curious. Ask questions instead of offering judgment. Smile more. Laugh gently. And speak with hope or not, just history. You don't have to pretend to be cheerful all the time, but being mindful of your tone and the energy you bring can make a world of difference. People want to be around someone who uplifts, someone who listens, someone who reminds them that aging doesn't mean bitterness, it means wisdom with grace. Part 5. Posture and non-verbal communication. Here's something no one says out loud, but almost everyone notices. Before you speak, before you even smile, your body is already talking. Posture, eye contact, the way you walk into a room, these silent signals shape how others perceive you more than you might realize. And as we age, those signals often shift not because we intend them to, but because our bodies slowly change and we don't always keep up. Think about it: shoulders begin to round, backs lean forward, steps become shorter, and eye contact, it becomes more fleeting. People around us start to respond not to who we are, but to what they think they see. Someone tired, someone fragile, someone faded. But here's the good news. None of that has to define you. Take Irene. She's 83, sharp as ever, full of life. But she couldn't understand why strangers kept offering her help. She didn't need her, why her grandkids gently took her arm, even when she felt totally steady. Then one day, she saw a photo of herself. Slouched shoulders, downcast eyes, arms crossed. The image didn't match the vibrant woman she knew herself to be. That moment changed everything. She began practicing something simple: awareness, lifting her chest when she walked, holding soft, steady eye contact when she spoke, uncrossing her arms when sitting at a table, imagining a string pulling her gently upward from the crown of her head. That tiny shift posture began to rewrite how others saw her. Not just as someone present, but as someone powerful. Because posture isn't just physical, it sends a message. A straight spine whispers confidence. Open arms say, I'm here, I'm engaged. Steady eye contact builds connection. Even the rhythm of your steps can show vitality or exhaustion. So, here's a gentle challenge. Walk into the room like you belong there because you do. Let your eyes meet others with warmth, not apology. Sit tall, stand steady, and move like someone who's still got stories to tell. Because you do. Plenty. Your body may have changed, but your energy, your dignity, that's yours to command. And when the world sees that, it responds differently. You don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to show up fully, openly, and unapologetically. Part 6. Bad breath or body odor. It's something no one really wants to talk about, but let's be honest, everyone notices. We're talking about personal scent bad breath or body odor, and if you're cringing just hearing that, you're not alone. It's one of those quiet topics people avoid, not because they don't care, but because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And yet, it might be the very thing creating distance between you and others literally. As we grow older, our bodies go through changes we don't always feel or notice. Our sense of smell fades, so the signals we used to rely on, they don't ring the same alarm bells. What once felt like a little morning breath might now linger all day. What used to be a faint body odor might now be stronger than we realize. Let's take James, 77. A man full of life. He's the type who lights up a room, or at least he used to. Lately, he noticed people leaning back when he spoke, or subtly turning their heads. It confused him. It hurt, too. Then one day, his daughter gently pulled him aside. Not to criticize, but to help. She handed him a new mouthwash, encouraged him to stay hydrated, and even suggested breathable fabrics and rotating deodorants. James didn't take offense. He took action. He upped his water intake, used mints between meals, and added a little more attention to his daily hygiene routine. And just like that, something shifted. Conversations felt warmer. People leaned in again. They smiled more. And James? He felt like himself again. You see, this isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. Here's what you can do: simple, practical, and powerful. Drink more water. Dehydration leads to dry mouth, and dry mouth leads to bad breath. Use a gentle, alcohol-free mouthwash. It keeps your breath fresh without drying out your mouth. Chew sugar-free gum or use mints. It helps stimulate saliva and clean out bacteria naturally. Shower regularly and wear fresh clothes. Don't forget your socks and undershirts. Rotate deodorants and choose breathable fabrics. Your skin will thank you. Here's the truth. The people who care about you, they want to be close to you. But sometimes, just one overlooked detail can build a wall between you and connection. So why not take it down? A little extra care, a little intention, and suddenly, you're not just present, you're magnetic. If this resonates with you or someone you love, drop a comment or share this video. 10. And if you're ready to keep learning and growing with confidence, follow Elderly Active Living, where aging isn't about fading, it's about showing up fresh and vibrant every day. Part 7. Forget to smile or express emotions. There's something incredibly powerful about a warm smile. Not the forced kind, not the photo smile, but the kind that reaches your eyes. The kind that says, "I see you. I'm glad you're here." But here's a truth that's hard to admit. Many older adults slowly stop smiling. Not because they're unhappy, but because life has worn down the habit. Maybe it started with pain, physical or emotional. Maybe it was a few too many quiet days. Or maybe it just didn't feel like anyone was watching anymore. But people notice. When your face seems neutral or worse, closed off, it sends a message, even if you don't mean it to. Let's talk about Anne. She's 75, retired teacher, full of stories and kindness. But when she looked in the mirror one morning, something struck her. She looked tired, not just in her eyes, but in her expression. That day, she challenged herself to smile more. At the mailman, at the neighbor's dog, at her own reflection. And something shifted. Her neighbor invited her for tea. The grocery clerk asked about her day. People didn't just see her, they felt her. You see, facial expression is a silent invitation. And if you're always serious or worse, frowning you might be pushing people away without knowing it. So, what can you do? Start with your eyes. Practice softening your gaze when you talk. No, just smile, even slightly. When greeting someone, it doesn't have to be big to be felt. Watch old comedies or joyful videos. Sometimes you need a nudge to remember your joy. Practice gratitude. It shows up on your face more than you think. And if it feels unnatural at first, that's okay. Muscles remember. They just need reminders. Because when your face says, "I'm open," the world opens up too. So go ahead, light up the room with that smile you forgot you had. It's still there, and it's one of your most powerful tools to stay connected, respected, and warmly received. Part 8. Cold communication or not actively connecting. Have you ever felt like people stopped reaching out? Like the phone doesn't ring as much, the invitations slow down. And slowly, the silence becomes normal. It's easy to think, they must be busy. Or worse, maybe I'm not needed anymore. But sometimes, the real issue is this. We stop reaching out first. As we age, there's a tendency to wait. Wait for others to call, to visit, to care. And when they don't, we retreat even further. But connection isn't passive. It's not something that happens to us. It's something we help create. Think of Roger, 82. He used to have a wide circle of neighbors, old co-workers, cousins. But one by one, those connections faded. Not because people didn't care, but because life got full, routines changed, and Roger stopped initiating. Until one day, his granddaughter challenged him. "Grandpa, why don't you text first? Just say hi." That night, Roger sent 5 short messages. Simple stuff. "Thinking of you. Remember this photo? I miss our chats." By morning, all 5 replied. One wanted coffee. Another sent a selfie. One said, "I thought you forgot me." You see, people still care. They just forget. Just like we do. So here's your nudge. Call first. Send the card. Text the joke. Join the club. You don't need deep conversations every day. You just need to show others. I still care. I still want to connect. Because when you do, something magical happens. You stop being invisible and you start being inviting. Let us know in the comments, who will you reach out to today? Conclusion. Small, but not small. Here's the truth, my friend. None of these habits define you, but they do shape how others experience you. A missed haircut, a loud tone, an old shirt, a quiet frown. They don't make you less of a person, but over time, they can make you feel less seen. And that's the danger of these little things. They sneak in, they settle quietly, and before we know it, they become part of our normal, even when they no longer serve us. But here's the good news. You can change any of them. You don't need to be younger. You don't need to be richer. You just need to be aware, because the way you show up still matters. You still walk into rooms. You still tell stories. You still have light inside you. And the world, yes, even now needs that light. So what do you do next? Maybe it's looking in the mirror and asking, what do I want my presence to say today? Maybe it's listening more closely when others speak. Maybe it's ironing that shirt, standing taller, smiling at the cashier, or texting your friend first. Each of these things says, I'm still here, I still care. And trust me, when people feel that from you, they lean in, they remember, they return. So don't underestimate yourself. You're not fading, you're just refining. And the version of you that lives with intention, with kindness, and with quiet strength, that version, unforgettable. If this video made you think, made you smile, or gave you that little nudge, please leave us a comment. Tell us one small change you'll try this week. We read every word, we truly do. And if you haven't yet, follow Elderly Active Living. Like and share this video with someone who deserves to feel more confident, more noticed, more alive. Because aging, it's not about disappearing. It's about showing up with heart, grace, and a little style. We'll see you in the next one.